For a true generalist, nothing is off the menu. Sometimes survival is all about versatility, and if you have an adventurous palate, there are more resources at your disposal. For one Japanese canine, finding enough food to last through the winter is a matter of life and death, so being picky isn't an option. But what happens when the Tanuki comes across a food that may threaten his life, death, and taxonomy? Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's your 30 minutes of interesting animal information. I'm Joe.
And I am Carlos.
Thank you to Cassie for the creation of our theme song. To hear more of Cassie's music, please search Cassie Michelle on YouTube.
And thank you to Brian for the creation of this week's artwork. To check it out, you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter at LD Taxonomy, or visit us at our home on the web at ldtaxonomy.com.
And today, on our 200th episode, we're talking about an adorable video game character. A couple times over, but he's also an actual animal.
Yes. I did not. It's been spelled a couple different ways, so that's why it threw me off. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Should we do some housekeeping before we talk about the animal?
Sure, yeah. So this is our 200th episode. Let's I need confetti. Where's my confetti? I've got sticky notes. There we go.
It's paper, and there's
I
a
did
lot of it.
Colored
That's
paper.
all that it requires
falling.
to be confetti. So that means a couple things. The first thing is that you might be watching this with your eyeballs.
Instead of with your ear balls.
That's right. Well, with both of your head balls. I don't like that.
I don't like that either.
Both pairs. You will be able to watch this full episode on YouTube, but then in the future, only partial episodes or clips.
Because
future episode, right?
We've been doing this podcast for coming up on 3 years now. I think, right? I think it's been 3 years.
200 weeks.
That's 4 years. I think we're getting close to 4 years in January. It'll be 4 years. And it's not expensive to run a podcast.
No.
But it's not free either. So what we did was we created a Patreon account. And if you don't know what Patreon is, it's a site that is appended, or a platform that's appended to our website. So you can visit it at ldtaxonomy.com/Patreon. And if you feel so inclined, no pressure, but anyone who does feel inclined can donate to the podcast, and that helps keep the lights on, helps pay for the software that we use, the hosting platforms that we use, any equipment that we might need, and gives us a little spur of motivation to to make this happen. We're going to do it regardless, but it'd be really helpful if you feel so moved to donate. That will be on ldtaxonomy.com/Patreon. People who do donate will have access to all of our full video episodes. People who do donate in this, I think the second tier, it comes in tiers. First tier, anybody who donates will get a shout out from us specifically on an episode. And then the second tier of the donation, those donators will have access to our full video episodes that we'll have uploaded. So just clips on YouTube just to whet the appetite. But if you want to see our lovely and beautiful faces while we talk about animals for 30 minutes or give or take some, then you can donate. And
yeah,
that helps everyone all around.
Also, we have a new T-shirt on our Teespring page, which is, well, you can get to it at ldtaxonomy.com/taxonomy tees, I'm pretty sure. And it's the what do you call it? It's not album art.
It's our
cover art.
It's our Apple Podcasts cover art.
Yeah.
Designed
Which
by
we've had for a long time.
Your wife, I believe, right?
That's right. Designed by Johanna.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. It's cool to look at and cool to wear. We got a bunch of good designs on there as well. If you haven't checked it out, like our Ursine Sunset
Which
T-shirt.
is right here, if you can see it.
If you are watching this on YouTube, then you'll see that Joey's wearing it. And then, we're going to be putting up new and cool things because it's just, it would be a shame to not put Brian's artwork on a T-shirt. It is that good. So we're going to be taking our favorites and putting them on our chest.
Just 200 of them. 200 different shirts.
We should probably do that. We'll do one called the Bestiary. And then we'll take all 200 of them and make them small and put them all across one shirt.
And it's just a mosaic of our faces.
Yeah. Or of Jeff Goldblum's face.
That's better. Yeah.
That's usually better. That's a usually better answer to most face-related questions. But yeah, is that everything?
There's the last thing is in honor of our 200th episode, the first 200 people.
No. The first. What have you signed us up for?
People.
First 10.
Just kidding. The first 10 people to email us or tweet us their favorite animal will get. Should we just say a goodie in the mail? Or
yes.
Should we be more specific?
Yeah, we'll say a prize.
A prize. A tangible prize.
Free prize.
Non-food based. So if you have a peanut allergy, don't worry about it.
We will not take this prize and dunk it in peanut butter.
Yeah. If you don't have a peanut butter allergy, you might be able to put peanuts in it or on it.
Very true.
Yeah.
Who knows?
If you're so inclined.
Yeah. So yes, you can email us at ldtaxonomy@gmail.com or tweet at us at ldtaxonomy, which is our handle. Your favorite animal. Tell us what floats your boat in the kingdom Animalia, and the first 10 responses we get, we'll send you a neat little LDT prize to show your LDT pride.
Nice. Okay. So that is that. Do you want to tell what video game character / animal are we talking about?
All right. Yes. Let's get into the episode. We are talking about this week the Tanuki.
The Tanuki, aka
the Japanese raccoon dog.
Yeah.
Which is just raccoon dog.
Yeah.
But there are raccoon dogs in Europe and East Asia, but
China.
we're talking about the one in Japan, in Nippon.
But you can wear the Tanuki suit in Mario.
Yes, Mario. I think 3D World.
Mario, I think in Mario 2 or Mario 3, you can wear it.
Oh yeah, it's an old. Actually, yeah, that's pretty old. If you've ever been playing Mario and you're like, "Hey, look, I'm a raccoon," you're actually a Tanuki, or you're wearing the skin of one. But and it's allowing you to float.
A full living Tanuki is in Animal Crossing. Tom Nook is a Tanuki.
Sure.
He owns the store, and he owns you. Or at least your mortgage.
I didn't realize there was slavery in Animal Crossing.
A slave to the system.
Yeah, to the rat race.
The Tanuki race.
I love me a game that is just simulates the rat race. If you choose to play as a rat, I suppose. Can you play as animals in Animal Crossing?
No. Nope.
What?
You're the only human in Animal Town.
0 out of 10 stars. Unacceptable.
You live with animals, though.
So I live with animals in real life. What's the point if I can't be one? You get to own an island, I guess. I do know that.
In the newest one, yeah.
But yes, Tom, who?
Nook?
Tom Nook. Yes, he's
Yeah.
Tanuki.
Tom Nookie?
There's also a video game called Tanuki Sunset, which is Joey. You tell me what you think Tanuki Sunset's all about. Don't look it up.
I wasn't looking up the video game. I was looking up other things with the Tanuki in it. I'm gonna guess it's an old school video game. Is it just a racing game?
You're pretty close. It's okay. I'll pop the bubble of suspense. It's a racing skateboarding game where you curve and grind along the neon synthwave highways of, I presume, California or something like that.
Are you a raccoon dog?
Yes, you are a Tanuki.
Oh, okay.
You are a Tanuki riding a skateboard on a highway, and everything is purple and neon and pink and stuff like that.
Oh,
yeah, it looks kind of fun.
Beautiful.
It looks like maybe an iPhone game or something like that. I have not played it, but
It actually looks like you're just a raccoon. This doesn't look like a Tanuki.
I think people just get them mixed up a lot.
Yeah, it looks like a
called
North American raccoon.
But anyway, this is called the Raccoon Dog. We're also going to call it here the well-endowed evanescent enigma. Which we'll get into later.
Excuse you.
And the tricky transforming trash panda.
Okay.
I'm sure you are eager for an explanation, but that's going to have to wait. Because
Okay.
it's time for science. We have to make
Science
room
time.
for science. It's science time. Let's taxonomize this. It's in a kingdom you know, love, and are in. It is Animalia. The phylum is Chordata. The class is Mammalia, because it's a raccoon dog. The order is Carnivora, because it eats stuff that is alive and not plants. The family is Canidae. So this is a dog. It's not a raccoon. It's not very closely related to raccoons at all. Its coloring kind of resembles a raccoon, but that's about it.
Yep.
Raccoons are more like lemurs. They're related to like kinkajous and stuff like that.
Which
but
also
this is-
seems wrong.
I mean, they've got little monkey hands, and
No, they don't. They don't have opposable thumbs.
I guess you're right, but they use their hands like monkeys do. Like they're very dexterous with their hands, and they climb. They spend a lot of time in trees. They got long, ring-tailed tails.
Yeah, I guess they do have
ringtails.
ringtails.
So yeah, they are more closely related to lemurs than they are to the Tanuki. But Tanukis are related to dogs, like hyenas and jackals and dogs.
I saw that they were most closely related to foxes.
I can see it. The genus is I should practice this. I always say that. Nycterudes? Nycterides?
I don't see how they're more closely related to lemurs. Because
Raccoons?
lemurs are in a different order. Raccoons are in Carnivora along with the Tanuki.
Let me pull it up. Maybe not true lemurs, but
Oh, what is it called? The coati or the coati, the Passamaquoddy?
what? Ringtails?
Yes.
Yes. Coatis, kinkajous.
Not ring-tailed lemurs, just ringtails, which are like yeah. Coatis, kinkajous, olingos.
Yeah, these things look like lemurs. They have dexterous tails. They spend a lot of time in trees. They have dexterous fingers as well. Little mousy faces. They're not primates or close to primates, but they are, or they're mustelids. They're like weasels, but in the they're like tree weasels.
Treasels, yeah.
Trees. that's what raccoons are. They're just treasels. But the Tanuki or the raccoon dog is nothing like that. It is a dog. So the genus is Nycterudes. The species is Viverrinus. So Nycterudes viverrinus is the binomial nomenclature. So, since we are in the business of naming things, it's time for my favorite part of the show, critter groups. The part of the show where I ask you, Joe, a question. That question is the same every time. What is the name of a group of this animal? Or what is the collective noun? And what is the term of entering? We do not have one for the Tanuki, but we do have one for raccoons, which they're not even closely related to. But raccoons have several interesting collective nouns. So if we ever end up doing the raccoon, then I'll have it's a wellspring of good content. So we're going to do raccoons because it looks like a raccoon, and that's about all we got. If you saw a group of raccoons, would you say it's A, a mischief of raccoons, B, a gaze of raccoons, C, a band of raccoons, or D, a crowd of raccoons? See, I feel like I'm at a disadvantage now because you can see my face.
Run the first one by me again.
Mischief.
What was the second one?
Gaze.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm really bad at games like lying or detecting liar games, like Liar's Dice or the Bull or Mafia or anything like that. Like I'm just out immediately. So.
Is it? Band sounds right, but is that just because they're called bandits? Because they have bandit masks.
I'm gonna put on my poker face.
Mischief really works well. The one that's the odd man out is gaze, but that could just be a red herring. What was the last one?
Crowd.
I'm gonna go with a gaze. Final answer.
Ding ding ding.
Oh,
you're correct. You got it.
The rest of them were like that would make sense. And
I thought that was I think that was a well-crafted one. It made you think about all of them.
Yeah.
And then you ended up at the right answer.
Yeah.
So, gaze is definitely the odd one out.
Now you know that's a good tactic to like if you find one that is that makes sense, do two more that make sense, and then one that is just completely ridiculous.
Yeah. I should have done like a convergence or something like that. Way out of left field.
A confluence.
I think we've already done that, or I've already included it as a
fake one.
As a fake one, yeah. But are you ready to hear what this thing looks like?
Sure.
Not raccoons, Tanukis. We're back to Tanukis. So, if we haven't already made it abundantly clear, this looks like a raccoon. But a pretty close cross between a raccoon and a Pomeranian.
Yeah, kinda.
Like, it took me a little bit after looking at pictures. Like, what kind of dog does this look like? It looks like a Pomeranian. Like, it's very poofy. It's a poofy little Pomeranian with his adorable little snout and skinny little legs and very extremely puffy coat. The ears
it is very poofy. They look way bigger than they are because of the poof.
Yeah, same with Pomeranians. Have you ever picked up a Pomeranian and you're like, your hand just sinks all the way down and you're like, oh wow, there is a
where is he?
There's like a weasel in here.
It just passes all the way through like a cloud.
it's just it's a ghost dog.
Ghosts of Tanuki.
What?
Ghosts of Tanuki.
Ah.
Yeah.
That's close, I guess.
Yeah.
Unlike a Pomeranian, the ears are smaller and rounded, and the tail is long, furry, and spotted. I've seen some like cartoons and stuff like that where the Tanuki's tail is ringed, and I think that in Mario the Tanuki's tail is ringed. I couldn't find a single actual Tanuki with a ringed tail. It was spotted, like blotchy at best, but never like defined rings like a raccoon. So I think that's where like the visual, like someone says, "Oh, raccoon dog," and then they just put like a kind of a dog-like raccoon cartoon up there and call it a day. But it turns out looking up Tanuki tail on Google lands you in furry territory pretty fast.
Whoa!
This is one of those things where they like will take a tail of a mammal and then just like kind of attach it to their butts and then walk around with it. And that's apparently Tanuki is a very common choice.
Interesting.
Yes.
And also not. Well, actually, it's interesting no matter what. Even disturbing things are interesting.
Their fur is light brown. It's flecked, but it's flecked with dark brown. It has darker spots on its eyes, like a raccoon, but also on its chest, legs, and tail. Some are much lighter, almost white, and they're very rare. But they're not albino, so it's just a very rare color variant. In short, they are small and cute. They're very cute.
Yeah. But how short?
How small?
How small is it?
Small.
Let's find out. Welcome to the Beloved Measure Up segment, the official listener's favorite part of the show. The part of the show that's introduced by you when you send in an audio of yourself singing or chittering the words measure up into ldtaxonomy.com. It's also fun for the whole family, I think I forgot to say. We don't have a new measure up intro this week, but we have something better. We do. A secret little surprise, unless you read the email this week.
No, I have not. Special 200th episode secret surprise.
Yeah. Without further ado, the listener's favorite part of the show.
Happy 200th episode to you. Happy 200th episode to you. Happy 200th episode. Life, death, and taxonomy. Happy 200th episode to you. Now let's.
Musically very good.
That was impressive because most of the things don't roll off the tongue very well, like life, death, and taxonomy.
I responded, that must have been hard work with all the extra syllables. But that was from Joy and the kids. Again, putting the team on their back. Joy, in particular, doing a lot of the work in that situation.
Especially the harmony work.
Yes. But there you go, 200 episodes.
That was spectacular.
It was indeed.
Thank you, Joy and the kids, for singing the most difficult rendition of that song.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you to Calvin, Julia, and Laura. Okay. Are you ready? Let's talk length. They're 45 to 71 centimeters, or 18 to 28 inches if you only speak American. How many Tanukis go into the Tokyo Sky Tree, the world's tallest tower?
The world's tallest tower.
Yeah.
Is that that yellow and red thing?
I don't think it's that color. So we know that the Burj Khalifa is the tallest building, skyscraper. But towers that are like very thin and have a wide base can be much, much taller. And it's easier to build them high. So like the tallest towers are usually like radio towers and stuff like that. But
like you have like the Twin Towers or the Sears Tower, which is
it's not that kind of
those
tower.
Those are also skyscrapers.
This is a tower, but people can go inside it. Here's a hint. The observation tower includes high-speed lifts to take people to the top. When it opened in 2012, visitors waited more than a week to get tickets to the opening. It also functions as a radio and television broadcasting tower.
Are you sure it's not that red and white thing? Like,
I don't know what
pretty
color
famous?
it is.
Oh, you didn't even look it up?
No, it's gray.
It's gray?
Yeah.
Oh. I know in Japan there's a red and white tower that's pretty well known there.
This thing, like if you look up a picture of it, it's humorously tall. It's dwarfing the other buildings around it.
It's humorously tall. You look at it and you're just like, huh. That's tall.
Those other buildings are so small. How embarrassing for them.
2,000 feet? Yeah.
Two Empire State Buildings.
Oh, is that 1,000 feet? Okay, that's too much.
It seems like a lot. I thought it was 1,000 feet.
The Burj Khalifa, isn't it like 1,600 feet?
It's 1,250 feet.
The Empire State Building?
Yeah. 1,400 to the tip of the antenna thing.
I'm going with 2,000. 2K feet. Divided by what? 2 and The answer is 857 Tanukis. All tied end to end would be a great escape ladder from the top of that tower.
Oh, I was mistaken. This is not taller. The Burj Khalifa is taller.
I was kind of wondering. So this must be like 1,800 feet.
Final answer.
I'm just gonna bring it right back down to 800 Tanukis.
What was your original?
857.
Okay. The correct answer was 892 or 891 Tanukis.
I was closer with my original answer.
The tower is 634 meters or 2,080 feet.
I was 80 feet off of my original estimate, and then I became 280 feet off my original.
You got scared.
Yeah, I did. Well, because
the Burj Khalifa is 2,700 feet.
Oh, yeah. I don't have those things memorized. I probably should. I should just memorize a bunch of facts about particularly mountain heights.
The average mountain height, yeah.
Yeah, I should get at least 4 or 5 mountain heights memorized, and then some of the tallest buildings and some of the deepest seas.
And then the astronomical units it takes to get to different things in the universe.
Yeah,
or in the solar system.
The density of neutron stars, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
All that stuff you can't graduate high school without knowing.
Yeah, simple. Let's talk weight. Particularly their summer weight, because they hibernate, so they have to gain a lot of weight for the winter.
Dog that hibernates.
Yeah. So in the summer there are 6.5 to 7 kilograms, or 14 to 15 pounds. Quite big.
Okay.
For a small thing.
That's not really that big, but okay.
It's like a really chunky puppy, like a chunky pug. Or
I think my dog Morph is about that heavy.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
So how many of the world's largest strawberry would the Tanuki have to eat its weight in the world's largest strawberry?
Wait, how many it would have to eat multiple of them to eat its weight?
Yeah.
Okay. This isn't like a James and the Giant Peach situation where it's much bigger than the actual Tanuki. World's largest strawberry. I imagine an abnormally large one would be like the size of like your fists put together, like a brain. So I'm going to say the largest strawberry is the size of a bicycle helmet. That's crazy.
Well, let's hear a
That's
a
crazy.
hint. The big berry was grown by Mr. Koji Nakao from Fukuoka, Japan. Sounds right
Watch
to me.
your language.
Mr. Nakao's daughter said it was delicious,
I'm sure it was.
which is a concern. When things are mutated to be large, sometimes they don't taste right, or they don't taste good.
I wouldn't know. Most of our food is with the GMOs is
True.
mutated to be large or at
But
least voluminous.
I've heard that like about fish and lobsters too. If you get a particularly large one, sometimes they're not good.
I'm going to say that this strawberry weighed 2 pounds. So the answer is 7.
7 Tanukis. Final
What?
answer.
No, 7.
Oh yeah, 7
strawberries.
strawberries. Yeah, that's correct. Well, that's not
That's
correct necessarily. It's just your assumptions were correct.
Don't play with my emotions like that.
Final
You
answer.
have no idea how much this means to me. Yes, 7.
Well, that's very disappointing to hear because the correct answer is 27.
Whoa, it's super
It's
small.
little. Yeah, the strawberry weighed 250 grams or 8.82 ounces. So it's big for a strawberry.
Yeah, but like not.
It's like this big. Like a big, like your fist. Yeah. It was half. You said like brain sized.
Yeah. Well, I was using that as like a standard for like if I ever walked by a farmer's market and I would be like, wow, those are some really big strawberries. But then when I think of the biggest strawberry, it's got to be bigger than that. And then they're dense and full of juice, and I figured that they would be pretty heavy, so 2 pounds made sense. And I was very wrong.
8 ounces. Ounces are big.
Ounces are the heaviest.
Yeah.
The heaviest things can be
Neutron
weighed in
star is
ounces,
like an
that's for
ounce,
sure.
right? That's all I got for that. Do you have any quick facts before we get into the thick fact?
Quick facts and thick facts. The Tanuki, or the Japanese raccoon dog, lives, of course, in Japan, specifically near water and in evergreen forests. It is omnivorous. It eats mostly rodents, fish, birds, eggs, lizards, frogs, as well as fruits, nuts, and berries. So, like raccoons, they will eat basically anything they can get their hands on. They are nocturnal, also like raccoons, and they spend most of their time in small groups, or
Small groups?
Yeah, they break off into small groups for Socratic seminars. And I would like to be able to put the term of venery there, but no one, despite the fact that they do spend a lot of time in groups, no one has deigned to give them a name. Should we come up with one?
Sure.
A crate.
That makes sense. Especially considering Tom Nook is a merchant.
It's based on the video game character.
Or you could say a spin for Mario.
Yeah, a spin. I like that. A spin of Tanukis. Okay, yeah. So that's the official one. You heard it here, folks. We have that kind of clout and authority.
Wouldn't that be great?
If we could just make them up or change them.
We talk a lot about like the success benchmarks for the podcast. I think that's the ultimate success benchmark. If we can come up with a term of venery that is official.
I feel like it's if we just get it started on like Twitter or something like that, it just becomes the colloquial or the de facto term of venery, and then it eventually gets cemented into law. Right now, it's just a bill. Just a lonely old Bill. Okay, yeah, so they spend most of their time in small spins foraging for food. A few quick facts. They are some of the only mammals to be monogamous, so they mate for life, like penguins. But penguins are not mammals, so it's not common in class Mammalia. They have like we said, they hibernate. They're some of the only dogs to hibernate during winter. Pandas don't even hibernate, so that's quite a feat. They can climb trees. Dogs that can climb trees. That's also not common, because they have curved little claws that allow them to grab onto branches, and that's how they find things like fruits and berries and nuts. They are dogs, but they don't bark. Instead, they have high-pitched whines, like my son when he drops the latest piece of recycling that he's obsessed with. We don't buy him toys. We hand him our recycling, and he loves it.
He likes plastic bottles and stuff?
Mm-hmm. He's like, hey, we finished the coffee creamer.
He's just trying to get you to stop throwing it out. He doesn't want it to like go to the ocean.
Yeah, so he's got his own little recycling bin. And he's like,
which doubles as a play bin.
Yes.
A toy bin.
And in Japanese folklore, the Tanuki holds a special place. It is a mischievous demon named, it's called, the demons are called, or spirits are called yokai.
Yeah.
In Japanese folklore. And it wears a little sombrero, and it holds a tiny lantern, and also has what appears to be a sake bottle. So it's lighting the way, it's drinking a lot, and it has a funny hat. What you'll notice if you... a lot of people have these statues of Tanukis that are kept as good luck charms in shops, kind of like little Buddhas and stuff.
I've seen this.
You'll notice a common feature of a lot of these statues is that the Tanuki's testicles are massive. Similar to like when you have like a little Buddha and it has giant earlobes. It's a different case for the Tanuki, and that's because its family jewels are magical, and they can shapeshift into things, useful things, like a blanket or a parachute or a boat. So, you always want to have that a well-endowed Tanuki close by in case you need to be saved from some sort of natural disaster. Not an actual Tanuki. You want the demon to be near you.
The things I've been seeing. You were talking.
Some of the paintings are gratuitous.
There's one. It looks like a sort of an old.
Yeah, it looks like one of the
old art of Tanuki defeating a group of men using only his
jewels.
Yeah.
Search this at your own risk, but
don't.
That is what they are known for in Japanese folklore. It's a huge deal.
Getting out of that. Okay.
Clearing your search history. Let's go on to the major fact, if that's not a major fact enough.
Okay, so the Tanuki is a generalist. Here's the major fact. That means they can eat a wide variety of foods. We mentioned how the raccoon in a previous episode is kind of the quintessential example of a generalist. Actually, the best example of one is probably a rat. Rats will eat anything,
or a human.
Yeah, but these raccoon cosplayers are even more generalists than raccoons. They'll consume fruit, vegetables, eggs, shrews, hedgehogs, birds, moles, basically everything. More interestingly, they will eat frogs, including the fire-bellied toad and the European spadefoot toad. The problem with that is that toads are poisonous. If you eat them, you will get sick and you may die. Our American raccoons here in the States also eat frogs, but they've developed a trick to eat around the poison. The toads secrete poison on their backs, and the raccoons have learned to flip over the frogs and eat their bellies and everything else except for their backs.
Which is horrifying.
Yeah. Not fun for the frog. That's
Nope.
quite a wild ride, to be sure. So, not so with the raccoon dog. Our friend, the Tanuki, gobbles the whole thing up and spits out the poison. Sort of. Apparently, they produce excessive amounts of saliva when they eat poisonous toads. The drool dilutes the poison to make it less toxic. The solution for pollution is dilution. So, it dilutes this poison and I guess makes it more palatable. So I can only trace this often repeated fact, repeated in Wikipedia and everyone who was using Wikipedia when they made their YouTube videos. And I traced the fact to a book called Foxes, Wolves, and Dogs of the World. And I don't understand how it works because you can't just drink poison and then drink a ton of water to dilute it and be okay. Unless, you know, I don't know. That doesn't make sense, but maybe it does for the Tanuki. But in my travels on the internet, I found another interesting fact that's sort of related. Tanukis have something weird in their taste buds. So a 2017 study looked at the genes of the Tanuki and found that they have a ton of bitter taste receptors in their genes. So bitter taste receptors, or TAS2R, are thought to develop in animals and humans to help them detect when food is toxic. So if you eat something and it's super bitter, that might be poison. If I eat a berry and it's very...
That's why I don't like bitter things. I don't like IPAs. I don't like dark chocolate. I don't like black coffee because my taste buds are telling me it's poison.
I would call an IPA really acidic rather than...
No, you add bitters to IPAs. You add things called bitters.
So the study looked at that bitter taste receptor, or the study noted that the bitter taste receptors are especially important among generalists who are more likely to encounter toxins. So things that eat one thing, like the panda, may grow out of their bitter taste receptors. The panda already grew out of its umami taste receptors. So not only do generalists eat more stuff, like frogs and berries, that could be poisonous, they also tend to be more adventurous eaters, right? Because a panda is only going to eat bamboo and stuff and a few other things. A raccoon or a tanuki is going to eat whatever it can get. And part of the reason for that is that the tanuki has to get enough food to last through the winter. If it doesn't, it dies. So it needs to eat whatever it can get. But they also found that most of these TAS2R genes are under purifying selection, which is the selective removal of genes that are harmful. In other words, these genes are on their way out. So all but 2 of them are going to be eventually phased out. The 2 that aren't being phased out, they're under positive selections, which means they are selected to stay, right? It's something that's good. It's something that's positive. So it helps them survive. So then more tanukis get that eventually. Mm-hmm. So one of these is TAS2R10, which is a receptor that humans have. It's able to detect 20 natural bitter compounds. So it might be the one that helps you taste bitterness in coffee and stuff like that. So the other is TAS2R67, which we don't have. So we don't even know what having that makes things taste like. So over the generations, they needed all these bitter taste receptors to not die, right? Because they're eating all this weird stuff, and all of these bitter taste receptors are allowing them to, oh, nope, that's tastes bad. I'm not going to eat that. It's probably poisonous. But now they only need 2. So maybe they figured out a way to get around toxins, like with their saliva, and getting rid of some of these receptors that makes food taste bad, allows them to survive better, right? So
because they just eat more because they can.
Right. So if they can eat it, then it shouldn't taste bad. But I also saw that the fact that 2 of them are positive and the rest are being selected out doesn't necessarily mean that they are less important or that bitter taste receptors are less important, because the 2 that they have might be the better ones. Does that make sense? Like these 2 might be all they need. Like the ones we have are all we need. The ones they have might be all they need. They are better receptors for their environment. So it's a mystery. I don't know it. I mean, it may not be a mystery to somebody else. I was trying to read a genetics like scientific paper, and I don't know anything about genetics, except for now I know what the term selective positive selection is.
Which is just natural selection, but for referring to specific traits and genes.
Yeah. So I was trying the study concluded to say that because they're generalists, it explains why they had all of these TAS2R receptors or genes, because they needed them to survive. They developed to help them not eat toxic things. But now they are focusing on these 2 other ones.
So now it's the other way. The ones that are able to eat more toxic things are more likely to survive.
Yeah, things that are able to eat toxic things and not die. Yeah.
Right. Well, I guess when able to eat means able to eat and not die.
Yeah.
I still don't understand why, like, producing saliva, a lot of it makes something not toxic, because you're still ingesting the same amount of toxin, just diluted.
Well, the only thing I could when I was reading it, they were saying, oh, because it dilutes the toxin. But saliva is not just a dilution solution. It breaks things down. It starts the digestive process. So maybe excessive saliva starts to break things down.
There's a lot
more
of
quickly.
enzymes.
Yeah.
Because you can drink a thimble of bleach, just straight like a shot, or you can dilute it in a cup of water, and you're gonna have a bad time either way.
Well, if you dilute it
because you still just drank a thimble of bleach.
But if you drink like a thimble of like 9 parts water and 1 part bleach, maybe you wouldn't die. I wouldn't recommend it because maybe you still would. But yeah.
Disclaimer: don't drink bleach. I did once. There was tied with bleach in a water bottle or a water jug, in my house as a kid, and I swallowed one of those little round disc peppermints with the red stripes, and it got stuck in my throat, and I grabbed that thinking it was water and chugged it, and then threw up everywhere.
You would really clean digestive system after that.
Mm-hmm. I was very proud of it. My digestive system, at least. Told everybody at school how clean my digestive system was.
Was it bitter?
I don't remember. It almost immediately triggered my gag reflex. Like it tasted like I think I remember tasting like soap, and then just it was tied with bleach. So I think it was scented. The dominant flavor was soap rather than bleach. But yeah, kids don't drink bleach.
Yeah, no.
Or eat toads, for that matter. Unless you're a Tanuki. Then eat all the toads you want.
Maybe there's something that binds in the drool that binds to toxins and they drool it out.
Makes it inert.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I tried to find more information about that because it sounds wacky. But I found genetics instead. That's the worst part about like following threads and finding a book. I guess
like,
I will either order this book and read it, or I won't know this.
I'll order this book and try to understand it.
Yeah. Well, this wasn't a genetics book. This was just a. It looks like a nice
Foxes, Dogs, and
Foxes, Wolves, and Wild Dogs of the World by
oh my
David Alderton, published in 2004.
nice. Maybe we should get it and use it as a base for all of our dogs and wild dogs and foxes info.
Yeah. The Tanuki also supplements its diet with poo-poo. So
it's a common thing.
yeah. Maybe we're the weird ones, you know?
Yeah, for real.
Letting that go to waste. You know what I think it is? In civilization, that's what we get. For all the smog, for all the traffic,
We don't have
to eat any poop.
We don't have to eat poop. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Although now they're doing like gut transfusions using small amounts of fecal matter in like milkshakes and stuff like that. And then for people who are deficient in gut flora and fauna,
if that's not called the baby panda diet, I don't want it. I don't want it in the world.
The baby panda diet is a French vanilla milkshake with a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of poop.
Yeah. That helps you digest your leafy greens.
Yep.
Or
your meats.
Non-leafy, yeah.
Is that you got anything else on the Tanuki?
That's all I got.
All right. That was the Japanese raccoon dog on this 200th episode of LDT.
Woo!
Just a recap of the things that we mentioned at the beginning of the episode. This episode is being video recorded, so you can see our beautiful faces if you go on YouTube and to our LD Taxonomy. The episodes going forward on video will be available to people who donate to our Patreon at ldtaxonomy.com/Patreon.
But you'll still probably see clips, so feel free to subscribe.
Yes, please subscribe. In honor of our 200th episode, email us or tweet at us at ldtaxonomy, or email us at ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. Your favorite animal, and the first 10 people to reach out will receive a special LDT prize. And I think that's it. Oh, also, I wanted to point out, we got a review.
Ooh.
In January.
Really?
We've not shouted out yet. This is from 5-star Anise.
Oh.
5-star.
I knew about this one.
Anise. Did you?
Yeah. Are you sure we didn't shout it out?
I don't think we did. If we did, then this is a second shout out for that. And if we didn't, then we're very sorry, Anise. But I did not recognize it when I looked at it. So that's the Tanuki. Thanks for joining us. For you out there in Podcastia, hibernate during the winter if you can. Keep your sake to yourself, and use your extremities to help, not hinder, like the Tanuki here in Life, Death, and Taxonomy.
Hey Taxonomy Titans, I just want to remind you that we now have a Patreon. Patrons can see full video episodes and get shoutouts on the show. But ultimately, it's a way for you to help us cover some costs and get even better. Still, reviews are the best way to help us grow. So if you haven't left one yet, we'd really love to hear from you. As always, thanks for listening and engaging.
Life, Death, and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast.
Don't drink bleach. Like the
Yeah.
Tanuki.
It's true. It's true.
Exactly.
They probably don't.
I could come up with lots of things that they don't do.
Yeah.
And don't slap people on the subway, like the Tanuki here in Life, Death, and Taxonomy.
Don't
And
steal cars.
don't commit insurance fraud, like the Tanuki here in Life, Death, and Taxonomy.